Well, you did it. Congratulations, you officially have your home under contract. Everybody's feeling good about everything. But in today's video, we're gonna talk about the top 5 ways to ruin your home sale. Avoid these 5 tips. Number 1, you can absolutely ruin your home sale by preventing access to your home. You've got to understand, once you get under contract, there's likely going to be inspectors that need to come through, appraisers that need to come through, a final walkthrough that needs to happen. And if you don't allow people to come into your home, that is going to really cause a lot of issues in the home sale. And so, yeah, you know, we're courting the buyers in the sale process, but once we get under contract, we need to understand that it's okay and that we do need to allow them access to the property on several occasions. Now, that being said, if it's over the top and they just keep asking to come into the house, now we can put the brakes on that. But you do need to allow for access for the pertinent parts of the transaction. Now, our second way to completely blow a real estate transaction is to not disclose known defects to your property. In the state of Florida, you are required by law to disclose any known defects to the property. So if you know that there's a plumbing leak, or you know that there's a roof leak, or termite issues, or something else that materially affects the property, you must disclose that to the buyer in the transaction. So if you don't disclose, then you're setting yourself up for some major issues. Because if you do disclose, then all of a sudden we're aware of it, we know what we're getting into to begin with, but if you don't disclose it, then an inspection comes and you have all of these issues that come up. Chances are the buyer's gonna walk away from that deal. Now on to the third way that we can really mess up a real estate transaction, and that's by missing deadlines. Now, you as the seller don't have quite as many deadlines as the buyer has, because they've got an inspection period, a finance contingency if they're getting financing. If there's a homeowners association, they have to apply to the HOA in a certain time. They've got to make an application to a mortgage within a certain time. There's a lot of things that they need to do. Now, you as a seller, your primary deadline that you have is the date of closing. That's the most important one. So your job is to make sure that you are moved out by the closing date. If you're not moved out by the closing date and you don't sign the documents, you've missed that deadline, and that can really screw up all parts of the transaction. So as a seller, it's pretty easy not to mess this one up, but also you've got to plan ahead. A lot of times sellers wait until the last minute to start the moving process, and it's a big job. It's a big job to move an entire home. So plan ahead so that you can set yourself up for success. All right, now our fourth way to ruin your home sale. This one happens more than I care to think about. And this is removing items that are included in the sale. It happens very often where sellers, a lot of times don't know any better, and they'll remove items from the sale. Some of the common things that sellers will remove are appliances, like a washer and dryer. Sometimes they're included, sometimes they're excluded. In Florida, much of the time they are included in the sale. The other big one is removing see the flat screen TV behind me? Removing the bracket from the wall. That bracket is bolted into the wall. As soon as that gets bolted into the wall, that becomes a fixture, much like a fan or a light fixture, and that is attached to the structure, and that should convey with the sale. So many times sellers want to save a few bucks and they remove those brackets from the wall, but what ends up happening is you have 6 holes in the wall. It looks terrible. That bracket should have stayed, and that causes problems. There's also a lot of times in real estate contracts, there can be personal property that is included. So if you sold any of the furniture or the art pieces or anything that's included in that contract, you're gonna wanna make sure that that conveys to the buyer. If you have any questions about what conveys, please make sure to reach out to your agent and or review the real estate contract, because it spells out in that real estate contract everything that should stay with the home when it sells. Now, our fifth and final way to ruin your home sale is leaving the house a mess at the final walkthrough. It's happened too many times when I've represented buyers, sometimes when we represent sellers, and we can do as much as we want to communicate, but it's very important that we make the house feel good. It's got to be clean. It's got to be removed of all the personal property that does not convey with the sale for closing, for that final walkthrough. And so if the house is a mess, if it's not ready for the next buyer because there's still a lot of stuff everywhere, or it's just a filthy mess, or there's new issues in the house, that can cause a buyer to slam on the brakes at the final walkthrough. Your obligation as the seller is to maintain the property in the same condition that it was when it went under contract, so when that contract was signed. And so if things have changed, let's say the air conditioner broke a week before closing, that is you as the seller, that is your responsibility. Okay, the air conditioner was working previously, it needs to work at closing. So please do a favor. I believe in karma, and I believe that it's good to make things nice for the next family. It's the right thing to do, and it will help you in the future, and just, by golly, let's just do what's right for the world. All right, and now you have the top 5 ways that you can absolutely ruin your home sale. So we're going to avoid doing all of these. We're gonna have a blissful selling experience, and things are going to go smoothly towards closing because you have done what you are supposed to do as a seller. Congratulations, that's amazing. Now all you have to do is sign the paperwork, wait for those funds to make their way into your account, and walk off into the sunset. I would sincerely appreciate, if you like these tips, I would sincerely appreciate you liking this video and subscribing below, because I put a lot of effort into these videos and I want to make sure that you're getting the value out of them. So that will inspire me to make more videos for you in the future. Talk soon. Thanks so much.